You are part of the horse community because you love horses. You can be heavily involved, breeding horses, competing, training riders, training horses, running a boarding facility, or a combination. And you do it because you love at least part of it. Or maybe you're not so heavily involved. You are one rider with one horse, and you just love to be at the barn with him, learning, taking it all in, spending time with him. You are also an important part of this active, vibrant community. Collectively, we often describe ourselves as horse people, and it is said we are a special breed, and in many ways, we are. We are extremely passionate people, or we wouldn't do half the things we do. We wouldn't center the rest of our lives around getting to the barn and getting to our horse, often at the expense of other relationships in our lives. We are committed and dedicated and responsible. And while these are fantastic qualities, we can take things to the extreme or lose our perspective in becoming the person that we really want to be and are put on this earth to be. We get so tired physically and emotionally, running around trying to get everything done, work enough hours to pay for it all, and keep ourselves and our horses fit for sale or competition. We need to teach all the lessons we need to teach after riding 5 horses and cleaning the barn. I know, I've been there. I gave so much of my life and time to the barn and to the students and to the horses that were in my care that I had no idea what I actually wanted from life. I was content with parts of what I did, loved parts of what I did, and could do without other parts. I had no time for myself and found myself so tired and burnt out that I had no room to figure it out. I see this in so many of us in this wonderful horse world, and it's easy to blame the industry. In my quest to find myself, I have really learned that each one of us are so much more than the life that we are living. You, every one of you, has something unique and powerful to share with the world. Your perspective, your own experiences, your own interpretations are special and valuable. I truly see that now, and I get really excited when I think of the idea of building a community of horse people that really see that too. I have found a way to really put some great principles into play in my life, and I feel happier and more free than I ever have before. And you know what? My horses feel that of me and are performing better because of it. Now, that's not news to most of us. We know that when we feel better about the world, our horses go better. It's not new to me either. But the evidence of how true it actually is continues to astound me. I've seen horses change drastically from moving into a new barn just because there was so much negative energy in the last barn they were in. I'm just so in awe of so much of what these amazing creatures can show us and teach us. The first thing is we need to take care of ourselves. That means in every way. No one knows what you need more than you. You just need to pay attention. There are 2 components to this, and I know you guys know this stuff, but consider this. Maybe it's time that you made this year, the year of the horse, the year that you take action with it. So first, there's the physical side of things. You need to be fit and healthy to have the energy to do the things you need to do. You need to figure out how to handle and heal from chronic pain so it doesn't hold you back. Make it a priority. It's also eating right, drinking enough water, and having the cardiovascular fitness to handle everything you do with ease. You know these things, but it's so easy to not make time for them, especially when what we have for work is physical work. We don't feel the need to exercise as much. But cross-training muscles can really help with that chronic pain. Now, if you feel great physically, good for you. The second part of taking care of ourselves, I feel most of us are very weak at. But you want to look after your mental health. You want to feel and experience confidence, competence, and feeling all the good feelings of happiness, joy, gratitude, and appreciation. And you may be in a role where you give it out a lot, compliments and encouragement to your students, but are you giving it from an empty cup? Knowing you have the power to choose how you feel and how your life can go is a magical thing. And you do have that power. But if you are like me, I needed help not to see it, but to make the necessary changes to believe it and live it. The second tip to success in the horse industry is to really leave your ego out of learning. And that's so hard for so many of us to do because we get competitive with each other. And we feel envy and all of the negative stuff towards each other. So we really have to work again on feeling all of the positive parts of the mental health. So let's not get into the stuff that can happen with barn staff and colleagues, but let's take an example that most of us can relate to with riding. So imagine you're in a riding lesson and you're hearing something over and over again and you think you're doing it and you're sick of hearing it. But first, we have to appreciate the complexity of the teaching learning environment with riding. So we've been conditioned throughout the school system to be visual learners. Our technology, our smartphones, our tablets, our television all support that desire for visual feedback. But then we're in our riding lesson and we're trying our best, and our coach is trying our best. But what we are actually doing is we sit on our horse and we learn through our auditory senses by hearing our instructor. And then we have to feel kinesthetically our horse and his movements and where his legs are and all of that. So those are two different learning modalities that we don't practice. 80% of us are visual learners. So you can see this is where having somebody video your lessons can be so helpful, but we might block our own learning because it's not our comfortable learning modality by hearing instruction and feeling a response. So just consider that your instructor might have a point in what they're saying, and you don't want to block all the things you can learn because you think that you're feeling your interpretation of it, and you may be. But we're weaker in that learning modality. Learn from someone you respect and give yourself entirely to that person in the lesson. Reflect on your understanding, ask questions, and always think about how you would explain your understanding of the concept you were working on to someone else. This will allow you to improve dramatically. It gets you into that higher level thinking. The beauty of writing, as I see it, is we are constantly evolving to greater and more sophisticated understandings of the same things. And that's how I never get bored of just trotting around on young horses. Each horse teaches me something, or reinforces my understanding of something, or makes me see things in a new light. It's energizing to me. And not only does each horse teach me something, but each person does too. Even if it happens to be something I would choose not to do. So know your strengths, find a coach to help you with your weaknesses and support you, and then allow their help in. And this is true for other things in the barn as well. Always leave your mind open to learning. The third thing is a little touchy-feely for a lot of you. Now, if you're a touchy-feely person, a lot of this is intuitive. But if you're practically minded, a methodical thinker and rider, this can really be the key to increasing your success in your riding, in building your relationships with your clients, with your students, and even in your breeding program. You need to allow the love and passion that you feel for these animals, the sport, and the industry to shine through. You've heard, I'm sure, that there's an art and a science to everything. The science of riding is the heels down, sit up tall, posting to the outside shoulder going forward, knowing the number of feet between the jumps. And the art of riding is allowing the jump to be another canter stride, seeing the pattern and the flow between the fences, seeing the beauty and the pattern in your dressage test, and the fluidity and elasticity that comes from being connected with your equine partner in such a way that the transitions and the figures become a dance. I told you, touchy-feely. The science of breeding horses is knowing stuff like the sperm count for your stallion, the concentration and volume of his ejaculate, knowing the follicle size of your mare, the number of days she's been in heat. And the art can be knowing how to collect your stallion, what his personal preferences are, because he has them. Using your intuition and experience to guide you when your mare should be inseminated to get her pregnant. You get the picture. Remind yourself each day why you love what you're doing to keep these good feelings coming through when things are tough. If you're cleaning stalls and it feels so monotonous that day, knowing why you love caring for the horses and being needed by them can really help. knowing why you love coaching and the intrinsic rewards you gain from being so significant in the lives of your students, because you are. And knowing what you need to do to take care of yourself, which takes you back to the first success tip, will keep this feeling closer at hand. So there they are, 3 success tips for the horse world. Thank you ever so much for watching and listening, and please feel free to share this with a fellow horse lover. Or if anyone you know in the horse world is feeling a little discouraged and needs a pick-me-up, I'd love them to see it. If you like these ideas, I'm starting a newsletter that is available for free. It will come out one every week or 2. The first one will be next week, and it's going to be centered on some of these ideas of taking care of ourselves, the mental part of riding, mental health in the horse industry, taking care of ourselves that way, as well as some great information about horses, ideas, fun facts, coaching, and networking. I'd really like it to become a great resource for all of us that are committed to having horses be a part of our lives, and invite feedback and sharing through our social media channels as well. Instead of working against each other and in discouragement, judgment, let's unite and celebrate these magnificent animals that bring us together. So if you want to sign up for the newsletter, please email me at goldcircleequine@gmail.com. That's goldcircleequine@gmail.com. I'm just getting set up with some tracking software that will allow me to have the auto-sponders and keep track of the mailing list and all that sort of good stuff, computer stuff. So until then, I'm just going to keep track of the responses manually. So just shoot me an email at that address, goldcircleequine@gmail.com, and I will be happy to put you on the list. The first newsletter will be out next week. Thank you ever so much, and have a great day.